it's been taught wrong. What many have done is treated giving as it's an opportunity to put money on God like he's a racehorse. I'm going to put $50 in the offering plate so I can play $50 on God. You know, I'm diversifying my investment. I'm going to put 50 on God. I'm going to put 25 in the lottery. I'm going to spend 10 on scratch-offs and maybe 100 at the boat. And so I'm diversifying my portfolio, what I want to invest in. So I'm putting money on God and I'm expecting a return from God. The heart of a giver should be the heart that says, I'm not giving for a blessing, but watch this, I'm giving from a blessing. Now, true indeed that Malachi, when God talks to Israel through the prophet Malachi in this passage, he is telling them to correct themselves. And if they will bring this tithe into the storehouse, the full tithe, if they'll bring it, then that which is going wrong in their lives, which he's caused to happen so that they would see that there's something not quite right, that he'll remove that judgment from them and they'll start to be blessed. He says so much so that I'll open up the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that there won't even be room enough to receive. We cleave to just this notion of the windows of heaven being open for a blessing to be poured out to us. And so we don't look at our tithing and our offerings as an opportunity to give, to show our gratitude to God and to bring God what's due him. We look at it as an opportunity just to prove God, to test God, to see if he'll bless us with what we want. And so we even tithe with this mindset of, well, I want to tithe because I don't want to miss my blessing. But shouldn't it really be that I'm tithing because I already didn't miss my blessing, because I was blessed? So there's first of all got to be a passion for giving. It's got to be in the heart. Paul talks about it in 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 7. He says to the Corinthian church, but as you excel in everything, in faith, in speech, in knowledge, in all earnestness, and in our love for you, see that you excel in this act of grace also. Giving is a gift. It's a spiritual gift. Paul says, just as you excel in everything else, you got faith, you excel in speech, you excel in knowledge, you excel in all of the earnestness and in your love, excel in this, excel in your giving. When will we get to the point when we focus not just on what we can get from God, yes, sir, but on what we can give to God? Come on, preacher. You know, every year around New Year's, we start talking about the fact that this is going to be my year. This is the year for my breakthrough, for my blessing, for me to overcome financially. But the heart of the giver says, this is going to be my neighbor's year. This is going to be the year that I bless some people in a way that I've never been able to bless before. Because God is looking for individuals that can be channels for blessings, not just dams for blessings. And for some of us, we just want to be blessed because we want the Benz, because we want the big house, because we want to be able to be on MTV Cribs, because we want to be able to just do some great things, eat at the finest restaurants downtown, pay off all of our debts. It's a selfish mentality, and it has nothing to do with anybody else. But there's first of all got to be a passion for giving, where it's not just an internal focus, but it's an external focus. Watch this. In 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verses 1 through 5, he says, we want you to know, brothers, about the grace of God that has been given among the churches of Macedonia. For in a severe test of affliction, their abundance of joy and their extreme poverty have overflowed in a wealth of generosity on their part. For they gave according to their means, as I can testify, and beyond their means of their own accord, begging us earnestly for the favor of taking part in the relief of the saints. They're giving because there's a famine in Jerusalem and the saints are starving. And it says in verse 5, and this, not as we expected, but they gave, watch this, themselves first to the Lord, and then by the will of God to us. The reason that this Macedonian church was able to give, because it was in their heart first. Paul says they gave themselves to God. And so their money just followed. And so it is with the believer today. when you giving yourself, your giving just follows. If you all about Jordans, then it doesn't mean anything to spend $200 on Jordans, because that's what I do. If you into cars, it's nothing to spend $600, $700, $800 a month on a car note, because I'm into cars. If you into getting your hair and your nails done, it doesn't matter that the beautician charges $80 and you got to go every week. That's what I'm into, and so that's what I do. I'm into Cold Stone ice cream. And for what I paid for a scoop and a half of Cold Stone, I can get a gallon from the grocery store. But I'm into Cold Stone Creamery ice cream. I'm into Cookie Don't You Want Some, and give it to me in the size gotta have it. I'm into that. And so when they ring it up, it's $5 and about 50 cents. It doesn't matter. I know I could go to Jewel and get a whole gallon of ice cream for that amount. But that's not what I want. That's not what my heart is. That's not what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about this type of ice cream. I like burritos at Chipotle.
Yes, sir.
It costs $6 instead of me getting one for $1.99 at Taco Bell. But I'm into the burritos at Chipotle, so I spend it because that's what I'm into. I'm into God.
Yes, sir.
And so when it comes down to Sunday morning, I'm not breaking them off just whatever, round bill that I got in my wallet. It's not a random thing that I'm giving. I'm already knowing that I'm starting at 100. I already know that. And it's just going up from there. Even if they ain't even represent. When it gets in your heart, it's not about the tithe, it's about the sacrifice. When it gets in your heart, it's not a calculated thing. It's not, okay, I made $1,000 this week, plus I won another $100 in scratch off. So that means I owe God $110. And in fact, I'm gonna just round it up because my check was $1,000.50. So I'm gonna just round it up for God. When it gets in your heart, it's not a calculated thing. It's just in your heart. I'm starting off at this amount. And whatever else I can give above that, I'm giving. It's one passage where David says, I will not offer unto God that which costs me nothing. In that, there's a couple of people. There's those that say, I will not offer unto God. Period.
Help me.
And there's some that say, I will not offer unto God that which costs. There's some that say, I will not offer unto God that which costs me. I don't care if it costs everybody else something, but I just don't want it to cost me. But then there are those of us that say, I will not offer unto God that which costs me nothing. You see, what you'll see in those that have the passion for giving, and when it's first of all gotten in their heart, is that not only is it demonstrated in their giving of their money, but it's demonstrated in their giving of their time to God, in their giving of their service to other people, because it's already gotten into their heart. So not only do we want to talk about this passion for giving that was demonstrated so well, as Paul talked to the Corinthian church about how the Macedonians had done, but he also mentions it, but it's also mentioned by Jesus when he talks about the widow's mite. You remember that story. It says in Luke chapter 21, Jesus looked up and saw the rich putting their gifts into the offering box, and he saw a poor widow put in 2 small copper coins, and he said, truly I tell you, this poor woman has put in more than all of them, for they all contributed out of their abundance, but she out of her poverty put in all she had to live on. So secondly, there's the issue of the principle of giving. The text says in Malachi, bring the full tithe into the storehouse. Notice he said the full tithe. The issue that's happening in the text is that not that they weren't giving, but they were just giving some, or they weren't giving their best. God had already laid down in this Levitical law that the 10th belonged to him. And so literally every 10th animal that went out into pasture was his. The 10th of their crop belonged to him, and they were to bring these things into the storehouse. But what they